This show is part of One Place, a daily network of focused briefings across the stories people follow most.
Welcome to the Roundup. We have a massive slate today covering everything from international soccer scandals and historic baseball championships to the high-stakes drama of March Madness and major front office moves in Barcelona.
Morocco is stunningly awarded the Africa Cup title.
Duke and Arizona lead the 2026 Final Four odds.
Venezuela shocks the U.S. to win first WBC title.
Traman Mark hits a dagger for Texas in Dayton.
Resilient Venezuela answers back to secure baseball history.
Michael Garcia shines as the World Baseball Classic MVP.
Watch the emotional celebrations as La Vinotinto triumphs.
Shohei Ohtani drives a massive MLB boom in Japan.
Michael Garcia's consistency leads Venezuela to the trophy.
Joan Laporta wins re-election and invites Messi back.
Starting with international soccer, the soccer world is reeling after the Confederation of African Football made a shocking decision regarding the Africa Cup of Nations. Morocco has been awarded the title after judges overturned Senegal's victory from the final back in January. The appeals board ruled that Senegal essentially forfeited the match, turning their 1-0 extra-time win into a 3-0 default victory for Morocco. This stems from a chaotic scene where Senegal players left the pitch for 15 minutes in protest after Morocco was awarded a late penalty. It is a massive reversal that has left the Senegalese Federation absolutely furious.
The tension during that final was palpable, especially after Senegal had a goal disallowed just before the controversial penalty. Even though they eventually returned to the field and won in extra time, the governing body decided the initial walk-off was grounds for forfeiture. Senegal's Secretary General called the ruling a shame for Africa and a travesty with no legal basis. They are planning to appeal, likely heading to the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Switzerland. Meanwhile, Senegal players have been defiant on social media, basically telling officials to come and try to take the physical trophy away from them.
Now to college hoops. As we look toward the 2026 Final Four in Indianapolis, the betting markets are starting to solidify around a few heavy hitters. Duke, Arizona, and Michigan have been the dominant forces all season, and they enter March as the clear favorites. Duke actually holds the best odds of any team in the entire field, despite being placed in a very challenging East region. The Blue Devils have negative odds to make the Final Four, which is almost unheard of given the volatility of the tournament. However, the East is packed with legendary coaches like Rick Pitino and Tom Izzo who could easily play spoiler.
If you are looking for value beyond the top seeds, there are some intriguing options. St. John's is getting a lot of love from odds makers after their Big East tournament win, and Kansas is a dangerous sleeper if Darren Peterson takes over. Over in the West, Arizona is the heavy favorite at -120, but they have to contend with perennial powers like Purdue and Gonzaga. One team to watch is UCLA at +1900. They have an experienced coach in Mick Cronin and a proven scorer in Tyler Bilodeau, making them a classic candidate for a deep, bracket-busting run this year.
Moving to baseball history, Venezuela has captured its first-ever World Baseball Classic title in a thrilling 3-2 victory over the United States. The game in Miami was an emotional roller coaster, with Venezuela jumping out to an early lead thanks to a Wilyer Abreu home run. The U.S. managed to tie it up in the 8th inning when Bryce Harper crushed a 2-run homer, sending the crowd into a frenzy. But Venezuela showed incredible resilience, reclaiming the lead in the 9th when Eugenio Suarez doubled to drive in the winning run. It was a historic moment for a country that has long dreamed of this specific international glory.
The American Stars really struggled to find their rhythm against Venezuela's pitching. Aaron Judge went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in the final, and the team as a whole batted under .200 during the knockout rounds. This loss marks the second straight final defeat for the U.S., who haven't won the title since 2017. The atmosphere in Miami was electric, with a heavily pro-Venezuela crowd making it feel like a home game for the victors. Eugenio Suarez summed it up perfectly afterward, saying that while nobody believed in them, they are now champions, sparking a massive celebration across the entire Venezuelan nation.
Back to the tournament. March Madness 2026 has already delivered its first iconic moment during the first four in Dayton. Texas guard Trayman Mark hit a stunning game-winning jumper with just over 1 second left to save the Longhorns from an epic collapse against NC State. Texas had a comfortable 9-point lead with less than 2 minutes to go, but NC State went on a furious run, hitting 4 straight three-pointers to tie the game. The Longhorns were rattled by a full-court press and turned the ball over repeatedly, nearly throwing away their season before Mark stepped up to hit the tough turnaround shot that secured the win.
It was a chaotic finish to what had been a fairly ugly defensive game. Neither team shot 40% from the floor, but the drama more than made up for the lack of offensive polish. For Texas coach Sean Miller, it was a bit of poetic justice, as he advanced past the first four a year after his former team, Xavier, eliminated Texas at this exact stage. The Longhorns don't have much time to celebrate this narrow escape, though. They have to fly across the country to Portland to face a dangerous BYU team, led by the nation's leading scorer, A.J. Dibansa, on Thursday.
More on the WBC. The resilience of this Venezuelan team cannot be overstated. Throughout the World Baseball Classic, they faced deficits against powerhouses like Japan and Italy, but they never panicked. In the final against the U.S., even after Bryce Harper's dramatic home run shifted all the momentum to the Americans, Venezuela stayed composed. They started the ninth inning with a walk and a gutsy stolen base by pinch runner Javier Sonoja. That set the stage for Eugenio Suarez to deliver the go-ahead double off Garrett Whitlock, who hadn't allowed a single run in the entire tournament until that very moment. It was a masterclass in pressure hitting.
The emotional weight of this win was visible on every player's face. When Daniel Palencia struck out the final batter, he fell to his knees in tears, while his teammates swarmed the field. Suarez emphasized that this team felt more like a family than just a roster of players, and that bond was evident in how they supported each other through the high-pressure innings. While the U.S. had one of the most talented rosters ever assembled, they couldn't overcome the passion and timely execution of the Venezuelans. It is a defining moment for international baseball, and a testament to Venezuela's growing dominance in the sport.
Continuing the baseball coverage, the World Baseball Classic has a new king, and the MVP honors went to a rising star who truly earned it. Maikel Garcia, the Kansas City Royals standout, was named the tournament's most valuable player after hitting .385 with 7 RBIs. Garcia was the spark plug for Venezuela, driving in the first run of the championship game with a sacrifice fly. While players like Eugenio Suarez and Wilyer Abreu had massive individual moments, Garcia's consistent production throughout the entire tournament made him the clear choice for the award. He proved he belongs on the world stage, alongside the biggest names in Major League Baseball.
Venezuela's pitching also deserves a huge amount of credit for this title. Eduardo Rodriguez was masterful, striking out Aaron Judge twice and holding the potent American lineup to just 1 hit over 5+ innings. The bullpen was equally impressive, allowing only 2 hits the rest of the way. Even though the U.S. roster featured players with thousands of career home runs and multiple World Series rings, they simply couldn't solve the Venezuelan arms when it mattered most. The atmosphere at Lone Depot Park was described as a deafening roar, making the Miami Stadium feel like a home venue for the new world champions.
Watching the victory celebrations. The scenes following the final out of the World Baseball Classic were absolutely unforgettable. Daniel Palencia sealed the victory by blowing a 99-mile-per-hour fastball past Roman Anthony, and the celebration that followed was pure catharsis. For the first time in the 20-year history of the tournament, La Vinotinto are the champions. Players were seen crying on the field, draped in the Venezuelan flag, as they celebrated a win that means so much to their home country. Eugenio Suarez spoke emotionally about how they play for their jersey and their people, highlighting the deep cultural significance of this specific sporting achievement.
It was a tournament of firsts for many of these players. Maikel Garcia's MVP performance was a breakout moment that he says will help him play better in the big leagues. The sheer joy of the Venezuelan dugout streaming onto the field to greet Javier Sonoja at the plate after the winning run scored is an image that will be replayed for years. This victory wasn't just about baseball. It was about national pride and a group of players who truly believed they could beat the best in the world. The footage of the fans in Miami and back in Venezuela shows a country united in celebration.
Shifting to global icons, Shohei Ohtani's impact on baseball continues to reach unprecedented heights. particularly in his home country of Japan. A recent survey shows that nearly 80% of Japanese fans cite Ohtani as the primary reason their interest in Major League Baseball has grown. He has effectively turned the Los Angeles Dodgers into Japan's national team, with nearly 60% of fans there identifying as Dodgers supporters. This isn't just casual interest. It's a deep emotional investment. When the Dodgers reached the World Series last year, more than half of all sports fans in Japan tuned in to watch their hero compete on the biggest stage.
Ohtani is a rare athlete who has managed to collapse the distance between two different baseball cultures. By playing alongside fellow countrymen like Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Roki Sasaki, he has made Dodger Stadium feel like a second home for millions of fans across the Pacific. Every home run and every dominant pitching performance pulls the Japanese and American baseball worlds closer together. He isn't just the best player in the world right now. He is a global phenomenon who is driving a massive commercial and cultural boom for the sport. His influence is redefining the geography of baseball in the 21st century.
Back to Garcia's MVP. Michael Garcia's path to the World Baseball Classic MVP was defined by his incredible consistency in high-leverage moments. He recorded a hit in nearly every game, finishing with a .385 average and 7 runs batted in. What really stood out was his performance in the elimination rounds. He hit a crucial 2-run homer against Japan in the quarterfinals and drove in the game-winning run against Italy in the semifinals. Even in the final, where he didn't record a hit, his sacrifice fly was what got Venezuela on the board early. He was the heartbeat of the lineup throughout their entire championship run.
Garcia himself noted that the atmosphere of the World Baseball Classic is unlike anything he experiences in the major leagues. He mentioned that the passion and intensity of playing for his country actually helps him elevate his game. For a young star on the Kansas City Royals, this tournament served as a massive coming-out party. He showed that he can perform under the most intense pressure imaginable, often outshining more established superstars. His ability to drive in runs in all 3 knockout games proved that he was the most reliable player on a team that needed every bit of his production to secure the title.
Finally, news from Barcelona. Joan Laporta has secured a massive landslide victory to remain the president of FC Barcelona until 2031. He won over 68% of the vote, giving him a powerful mandate to continue the club's financial recovery and oversee the transition back to the Spotify Camp Nou. Immediately after his win, Laporta made headlines by addressing the future of Lionel Messi. He insisted that the doors at Barca are always open for the legendary 8-time Ballon d'Or winner, suggesting that Messi deserves both a tribute match and a statue at the stadium to honor his incredible legacy with the Catalan giants.
The election wasn't without drama, as Laporta had to push back against claims from former manager Xavi. Xavi had accused Laporta of being a liar and blocking Messi's potential return in 2003. Laporta countered by stating that the decision to join Inter Miami was entirely Messi's choice, driven by a desire to avoid the immense pressure of a return to Barcelona. Laporta maintained that he sent a contract to Messi's representatives, but respected the player's wish for a different environment. With this new term, Laporta is promising the best years are yet to come for the club as they move past recent hardships.
That wraps up our sports roundup for today. Thanks for joining us as we covered a historic day in global sports. We will be back tomorrow with more updates.
Make sure to follow the show so you never miss a daily briefing. We'll keep you posted on the tournament brackets and all the breaking news. See you next time.